Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to try out some new products at Sephora, so I don't want to ramble on. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So I want to start with some new lip colors from Huda Beauty. She came out with a couple new shades of her lip contour stains, and I thought that this one might go good with the eyeshadow palette we have today. So I have here Mocha and also Rosy Mauve. I think she also said she reformulated because there was some issues with them drying out. So let me swatch these for you. This first one is Mocha. This is quite deep for me personally, but it does feel quite wet, not dry at all. And then also Rosy Mauve. I love when brands do more cool tones. Yeah, this is a really unique color for a lip stain. So I thought that I would use this today. Feels nice and damp. What damp? Damp. Moist. I know that's a triggering word for a lot of people. Wet. All of the things. It doesn't feel dried out, is what I'm trying to say. The one thing that I am a little concerned with matching today is the fact that my hair is much warmer than I'm used to. I've had a little bit of a hair roller coaster recently. I had to get my hair redone. Somebody messed it up. It's a whole thing. My stylist is moving out of state. So my hair is not as light as I would like, and it's more warm, but we're just working on it. So hopefully the cool tones don't clash too much. I'm just not used to having such warm color, and I'm trying to baby it right now. I don't wanna put too much purple shampoo on it. But I wanna apply, actually I got so excited. I was like, we're going in with the Natasha Denona. I did wanna apply a little bit of this Cocoa Kind Strawberry Shortcake Lip Balm. I purchased this at Ulta last week. I love this formula. I don't think I've ever talked about it. I bought it, I would say maybe a month ago, not this color, but other flavors, and I was really impressed with it. This one I hadn't seen before, so I'm not sure. Very, very, very hydrating. It reminds me honestly of like the Ole Henriksen in terms of like the feel. It's quite sticky. This lip liner is dark right now. Wonder if I should have wiped that off first. By the way, these are hanging on. I mean, I'm pressing really, really hard. So I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna just, oh, did it all come off? No. I'm gonna wipe away. Obviously, if you wanted like longevity, I would not do that, but I feel like that's pretty intense and for my skin tone. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there and then go back in with the Cocoa Kind. Anyways, I really like this formula. They remind me of the Ole Henriksen, but they, I feel, are a little bit more pigmented. This one's pretty sheer, but some of the other colors I have like a red and it's really quite pigmented. Very hydrating, they smell delicious. So really good option, and I think they're like 14 bucks, which isn't too bad. So for the eyes, I'm really excited to play with the new Natasha Denona I Need a Cool palette. This was sent to me, but I also purchased it because I didn't know. So I was really excited to get this. This is one of her midi palettes, and it is a cool color story. It also appears to be like a lighter color story. There are some deeper shades, but overall it seems more of like an icy, silvery, light color story. The card that was sent with PR says it has sparkling foiled, metallic, creamy matte, and silky matte. So 4 different formulas and 15 brand new shades. So I'm gonna put some swatches on screen. Everything swatched really nicely. The only one I think is gonna be a little finicky would be Glacier. It has that really intense iridescence to it, but it can be quite flaky. So I would say on a wet base, an unset lid, or just a really little tap of it and then work it in to build it up, because it's gonna get chunky otherwise. So that's just my first impression. I'm trying to figure out what I wanna do because I don't ever plan. I just kind of look and go with how I feel. So I've got you zoomed in a little bit more, and I think I wanna start with this shade right here. I'm gonna take a BK 201. I didn't set my lid, so I wanna stamp this on the outer portion here, and then pulling inward. Then I can start softening around the edges, but I'm kind of stamping it in my crease and then blending around. Next, I'm gonna go into this shade that's a little bit deeper with a BK 211, and I wanna try to emphasize what I just did, staying right in that crease area. I feel like this is giving 90s, and I love that. And then I'm gonna go back in with my first brush just to soften. It's blending pretty nicely, especially given that I have a lot of issues with like dryness. Next, I want to take this shade that's a little bit lighter than that first one that we used. I want to see if I can use this to soften the edges. It's a little darker than I wanted, so I might have to go in. I might have to go in with Cloud. Let me just try that. I feel like this eye always does me dirty because of my microblading. I feel like this is a little high. So I'm trying to settle that with my concealer brush because I like the way this eye looks. So it's not perfect, but I'm gonna just let that be for a second. I wanna go in next, I think, to this shade and see what this translates like on the outer corner here. I'm just applying it and then blending into that crease. It actually pairs nicely. Doesn't look too warm because it is more of a, I would say like a chocolatey brown. Probably one of the warmest colors in the palette. Honestly, everything is blended really nicely in terms of the mattes. I'm trying to decide what I want to do for a shimmer. I don't want to do something super dark, although this shade looks incredible if you were doing something like intense. Okay, I am going to start with this, which is more of just like a standard metallic. I want to see what this looks like. It's actually really pretty. I'm also noticing actually right now that there's not a ton of fallout so far. It doesn't bother me, but it's just something I just noticed when I was looking up close. So I'm gonna do that, and then I think I'm gonna try a smidge of this really deep metallic. That seems like it's like a creamy metallic. Just a smidge right there. And then I am really drawn to the pink, but I feel like I need to go in with Glacier possibly just to stay in the really cool tone. So I'm gonna take a little bit on my finger. This one does come off quite chunky. So that definitely made it a little bit more like white icy. This one you're gonna get fallout because it is just chunky in general. So that definitely changed the tone of it, and I don't know if I prefer that or this. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So I want to do some liner here because this is such a intense look. I feel like I need it to ground it. The problem is I don't want it to take it over. So let's see if I can keep it in line here. This is where I struggle because I feel like my eyes come down, like they turn down. So the base of my lid is lower, and I don't like that heaviness that it gives me, especially as I've gotten older. But I have a hard time doing like a really tiny wing. I just don't know how to connect it and make it look natural. Because if I do a tiny wing like this, it feels too high and not like elongated enough. That's my struggle. All right, so I went ahead and did my liner and lashes. I did use these Salon Perfect pre-glued clusters. I absolutely love them. Excuse me. I did a 14 and a 12, and then I used my Clio mascara. So I will link these because I think they're the easiest that I've tried in terms of just like popping them on and going. And then I did put on some skincare. you guessed it, the Bioma Milky Toner. I swear by this under makeup. And then the BabsBeauty Barrier Cream. This is like my go-to. I know it's gonna hydrate my skin and it's going to sit well under makeup. So now I have a new foundation to test out. I actually got a sample of the new Westman Atelier foundation. I went into store and they happen to have it. So instead of just buying it because I don't know if I'm gonna love it, I thought that I would just grab a sample. So this is supposed to be a weightless, medium coverage foundation that blurs and smooths with a natural hydrated finish. It is $69, so it's pricey. I do love some of my Westman Atelier products. Actually, a lot of them I do love. But again, I know that foundation is so personal. So I did get the color L2. Okay, so it's described as a light neutral. I do feel like it might be a little bit dark for my neck, but my arms are more tan. So I'm gonna just work off of the little sample they gave me. I'm gonna use a BK Beauty 109 and then kind of stipple on the hands and see how this feels. It almost appears like there's a radiance to it, but I don't see like visible shimmer or glitter. I don't know, does that look like super glowy? I would agree that the coverage is medium off the bat, which is nice. And I like how thin this feels. Okay, so this is what the Westman Atelier foundation looks like. I do have to say that even though it's not sticky when you touch it, it does feel quite emollient, even though it's thin. What I mean by that is it's definitely gonna need to be set. And it feels almost like skincare once you get it all over the skin. I felt like I had to clear off or clean off my brush a little bit just to get less product on this side. So I would say less is more and build up. It does seem to me, I would say more than a natural finish. I don't know how you guys are reading it on camera, but it looks almost luminous to me. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I definitely see some sort of like radiance. It's very pretty, but I just don't know yet. So coverage is great. I don't have any issues with that. So let's see how other products play with it and we'll kind of form more of an opinion then. I'm actually just gonna stick with Westman Atelier and use this cream duo. This is the lightest shade, but I think it'll work. I'm gonna use my Makeup by Mario F4. I got some bristles out of whack here. Probably got smashed when I stored it. So I'm gonna dip into the darker side here. I'm curious how other products are going to work with this foundation and if it lasts. Those are, you know, big things for me. I do like the glow that it gives, but it just almost feels like, you mixed your foundation with a little bit of like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. Seems like there's some sort of luminosity in this formula. So far that's blended just fine. So for blush, I think I'm going to use the NARS blushes. I purchased 5 shades now. When I was in store, I did pick up this purple tone. I just want to see what it's like. I think I'm gonna mix the two. So this one is the Lose Control. I love this formula. It is getting up there with my love for the Armani blushes. They're just a little bit different, but I love both formulas. So I'm gonna mix Fast Ride and the purple shade and use this side of my brush. I'm just gonna make a little concoction here. That's actually really pretty. It's definitely cool toned, which is what I wanted for this. Fast Ride is so beautiful. It's just like this beautiful, cool pink. May have gotten a little bit too much purple on this side, so just trying to balance that out. And then I'm just gonna take my brush and clean up where I've gone too low. I think that's stunning. The formula is just so beautiful. So now I have these correctors, and I forgot actually to try the green one, but here's the thing. These are new from One Size. So these were sent to me. These are the Ultimate Color Corrector stains. So I pulled a few shades. Let me just swatch a couple for you. This first one is Baby Pink, and that's what it swatches like. And then we also have this like peachy one that is Ultra Peach, which looks more of like a flesh toned peach. So they feel really thin and lightweight, but quite matte. They're supposed to be stains. That's where I'm unsure, like what do they mean by a stain? Because it's a cream, I guess. So I wanted to try out the pink on my under eye. So I am going to just apply this on the areas that I get dark. It feels quite dry in terms of the texture. So if you have dryness on your under eyes or wherever you're using it, just something to note. Yeah, I feel like it's picking up a little bit on dryness out here, actually, and here. I do have dry under eyes though, so I don't know if you can see that like dryness. Let's remove that, and then I want to try maybe just using my fingertip. So I'm going to work off the product and see if I can get maybe a better application. I mean, it definitely is brightening or correcting, but I would say you have to have super moisturized base, especially, you know, someone like me that's struggling with that. Another thing I noticed is it does smell. Oh, it smells like hot plastic. Oh, and like it does smell like kind of like fishy. It's almost like they didn't put any sort of fragrance in it and you can smell something coming through. It doesn't feel like you would powder this because it looks and feels dry already. So I'm gonna have to play with these more. I don't know. I don't think today is gonna be the day for me. My eyes just already look dry underneath. I am gonna go ahead and just add some eye cream because even just removing that, my eyes just are so dry underneath. My problem is when I put on eye creams and things before bed, it seeps into my eyes and I wake up with like irritation. Like I feel like somebody has put lotion in my eyes no matter what I do. So that's been my frustration. I can't keep them hydrated without eye irritation. Even like the Vaseline stick and all those things, it still just melts once your body heat touches it and it just irritates my eyes. I wanted to see how like intense these are, these swatches. I mean, they're definitely on there. Okay, I'm watching my skin right now. I feel like I'm getting greasier by the second. Am I making that up? I feel like I'm starting to look textured, like more textured and greasier in my T-zone. And I have been wearing this for maybe 15 minutes. So that's a little strange, but let's go ahead and try out the next product. Hopefully powder will remedy this. So I have this new Benefit Cosmetics Professional Concealer. So they sent this to me in PR. I have the shade 5N. It's supposed to be a 24-hour smoothing and blurring liquid concealer. That doesn't look super light. And that was the lightest color. It looks very, very thin. Like it feels very thin. But looking at the claims, it says waterproof and full coverage with a natural finish. So I'm just going to apply this. This looks very, like it feels very thin. Should probably add a little bit more of that blush up here to make this uniform. All right, so I've let it sit for about 30 seconds to try to get maximum coverage. It's extremely thin in texture. I mean, like very, very thin, almost like a whipped thin. I feel like it looks quite nice. I don't know if I agree with the full coverage claim. I would say it's sitting more at like a medium coverage. Again, I almost feel like that also has some sort of like illumination. I can't tell if it's just the Westman Atelier, but it almost looks like it has some sort of, I don't want to say glow in it, but like reflect. Maybe I'm just seeing things, which I don't mind as long as it plays well with powder and it sets nicely and it doesn't cling. Looks maybe a little bit dry over here, but that's that same area that the One Size picked up on, but this is what the under eyes look like. I still see a little bit of darkness. Like I don't think that it's full coverage, I would say maybe medium. I feel like it didn't self-set, but sort of. Like when I start rubbing this swatch, you can move a little bit of it, like the edges, but the actual, I guess, swatch set down almost. So I want to try to go in with powder. This is where I get a little nervous because I feel like my face is starting to look a little bit greasy and textured, and that's strange for just how like short of a period of time I've had this on. But I'm going to use my L'Oreal because she always comes in clutch. Press in with my puff. I want to see how this Westman Atelier reacts to powder, especially like around my nose area and my chin. I mean, that is a world of difference. Oh, this powder is just so good. I just cannot go without powder. It truly just makes my skin look so much more smooth, but that is so satisfying. All right, so I went ahead and set my entire face, and this is what the skin looks like. It did set well, so I just want to see how that holds up, but I want to finish off the eyes. So I'm going to go back into the palette, and I think I'm going to go into that deep chocolate, and I'm going to use a Rephr 29. I want to press this on the lower lash line. I like to go about halfway. Okay, I actually think that I did the black on accident. I think I dipped into the black, so we're just gonna have to do that. I did that on one side, I didn't mean to, so I guess we're just gonna do that. And then I'm gonna go in with a Rephr 03, and maybe I am gonna use that chocolate brown. I might dip into a little bit of this one, and I wanna soften slightly. Okay, now I am gonna go in with this shade and a Rephr 26 and really intensify the smokiness. I also wanna try to take a little bit of this color and see if I can put this on the lower lash line at all. It's a shimmer, but add much. I am gonna take some of this Nabla eyeliner. This is in black. Oh, did this break? I think mine broke. It's pretty old, so I'm gonna actually work off of the tip with a BK 208 and start applying to the waterline and lash line. And then going back in with that tiny brush. And then again, I'm gonna go back in to this shade. I might mix even a little bit of this just to try to calm down how heavy the black is under my eye. I mean, it's smoky, but I just don't want it to be too stark, I guess. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to remedy it at this point. I'm just gonna take a clean brush and try to soften. I think it's just gonna have to be quite smoky. I am gonna try a little bit of this really pretty metallic on the lower lash line. This one is flaky, but it's really pretty. Just add a little bit of something, something. And I'm trying to figure out the inner corner. If I wanna do, I'm gonna wait on the inner corner, so I'm not sure that I wanna do something. So I'm just gonna leave the eyes there, and I wanna move on to finish off the face and the lips, and we'll kind of see how everything comes together. So for bronzer, I'm gonna use my Tom Ford in Corsica. I really like this. I don't have another new bronzer, powder bronzer. So I'm just gonna reinforce this just a smidge. I'm also just gonna take a little bit of powder because I feel like I pulled that a little low. Okay, and then for highlighter, I don't, again, have anything new other than the RMS that I'm continuing to test. So I think I'm just gonna go straight in with the icy one because we're doing cool tones today. I've actually really been enjoying this. I think it's a really nice formula. But I mean, if you have the Dior, the colors are quite similar, but I do feel like the formulas are just a little bit different. This one's a little bit more, I would say buildable, a little bit more sheer, but you can still get it really intense. So I really like this. And then I have a couple perfumes that I wanted to talk about. Maybe we'll do that before we get into lips. So first I want to talk about these new sprays from Sol de Janeiro. So this is the first time I got PR from them that I can recall. I was really excited to get these. So these are their new setting sprays. No, they're their new fragrance sprays, and they are available now. So we have two, I think there's 4 in total, but they sent me 3. So we have 2 that are inspired by previous mist, and then we have a brand new mist. So let's go over the notes here. Let me grab my little note thing they sent. So they sent this with it. Okay, so let's start off with my favorite, which is the new one. So this is the Cheirosa 74. It's supposed to have ripe pineapple, orange flower, and solar ambery accord. I've been wearing this pretty much every day since. It smells really delicious. These are the intense versions. A lot of their scents are really soft and maybe more juvenile, you know, like body sprays in general are, but they're trying to offer something that's a little bit more intense, a little bit more maybe night appropriate. So I don't think any of these are mature in any sense, but they do have an elevation to them that makes them, I guess, more grown, if that makes sense. This one to me just smells like a warm, a solar with the amber. I don't get a ton of the pineapple, but this is cozy and it's ambery. It doesn't have any floral in it. It doesn't, you know, smell juicy or anything like that. It's just truly like a warm cashmere type of amber scent. So this is my favorite, which I was surprised by because I thought my favorite was gonna be the 59 Intense. I love the original 59, but this one is a more elevated version with white orchid, sandalwood oil, and solar ambery accord. So it looks like all of them have that ambery accord. I think the reason that this one isn't my favorite is because of that white orchid. It does smell similar to the original with, again, that more like sultry warm, I guess it would be the solar amber, but this has a little bit of almost like a tickle my nose type of feel to it, and I think it is that floral. It's not overly floral, don't get me wrong, because these are all very like warm skin scents, but I think there's just something in there with that floral that kind of makes me feel like I need to sneeze. So it's not my favorite of the bunch. And then we have the 62 Intense. Now this one has roasted pistachio, vanilla absolute, and then again, the solar ambery accord. So this one I feel like has a really similar DNA to the original 62, but I think this one does have that pistachio twist. It's a little bit more nutty. So I think this one smells good. Again, just more of like a rich option, but it's not crazy different from the original. I would say this one smells the most like the original, but again, with that like really nutty base. So I think they are a really nice release, and I think it is good for them to come out with more intense, I guess, nighttime appropriate or just not so like juicy, fruity scents. And along with those fragrance mists, I did receive in PR the new Rare Beauty fragrance. So I really like the original. I felt like it was quite similar to Burberry Goddess, but this one is more of, I would say, a floral heavy fragrance. I love the packaging. It's really beautiful and weighted, and it does have a locking mechanism so you can lock it and unlock it when you want to use it if you're traveling. This is the thing about this. The notes are pear nectar, gardenia, and vanilla bean. I think this is incredibly strong, like really strong. I get that pear, but I get heavy gardenia, and I'm talking heavy. So I would say gardenia first, then the pear secondary, like mixed in. It has, again, that like tickle my nose, like I have to sneeze sort of smell to me personally. I wish it was heavier on the pear and way heavier on the vanilla bean. I don't personally get much vanilla bean, even on the skin. It is quite floral, like a citrus floral. So for me, the floral note was way too strong. I'm very sensitive. I can get a headache. So I think if you want to pick this up, you have to love a floral fresh scent. It is very strong, which again, I think that's good. And that floral note is very, very present there. So if you like floral, I think you would like this. I could see this as like a clean, fresh, like out of the shower, going to the gym, everyday scent, a spring scent, but it is just incredibly floral for me personally. So not gonna be a favorite of mine, but I could see a lot of people really liking it. All right, so I wanna go ahead and finish off with the lips. So I was trying to think what lip liner to use. Okay, I'm actually gonna try one of my favorites. This is the Dynamic Doer from Revlon. I really like this formula. And this is more of a cool shade. I don't know if a warm lip would look good with this. So I'm gonna try this with a new lipstick and lip gloss that I purchased. So I haven't tried anything from Kiko, but I did order a couple things because they are now at Macy's. So I got this color 101. This is the creamy lipstick, and they are a more affordable brand. This is like a cool pink. Kenny's writing right now. She's over it. Oh, here she comes. There we have Miss Ma'am. She did get a haircut. She needs brushed. She's kind of a train wreck right now, but what do you think? You're very cute. Are you bored? I know. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. I feel like you got one of Ian's hairs or my hairs on you. Okay, but this is how that lipstick looks. I think it's really beautiful. I kind of like it like this. I want to try a little bit of this, and I might not keep it on. This is the lip gloss from them. I've heard a ton of things about their glosses, and this is in 05. It's like a really gorgeous, sparkly pink. I don't even know if you can see that. It has like a really pretty iridescence to it. It doesn't have a smell as I touch my literal nose, but let's just try this. Oh. Oh yes. That is so pretty. I don't know if I think it goes with this eye look. I kind of liked it before, but I think that's really pretty. Woo, that's pretty. Okay, I want to buy more from them. I want to find like a store. I don't know if they're like in store anywhere, but I'd like to go in store and swatch because they look like they have so many beautiful colors for lip products in particular. So let me get myself together here, and then we'll do an outro and my first impression on everything. All right, guys, so here's my finished makeup look, trying out new products. So let's go over my thoughts. I actually really like the color of this Huda Beauty lip contour. I feel like it's really pretty and kind of mid-tone where it's not too dark. So, you know, if you have a fair or light skin tone, you can still use it and then just smudge or wipe like I did. But if you have a deeper complexion, it'll show up as well. And I feel like we need more cool tone options. You can see that it is still on my hand and I've wiped it profusely. It does feel more wet overall, so that's a good thing. And then I love the Cocoa Kind. I should have featured these more, but they're in my beauty room or in my car. And I have, I think, 3 of them now. Very similar to the Ole Henriksen, but a little bit more pigmented. This one is sheer, but I have some other ones that are quite bright and they all smell incredible. And then the Westman Atelier foundation. Okay, this one I feel like is a roller coaster. Initially, I'm like, wow, it's very thin, very dewy. I like the coverage. And then it started to look rough like 20 minutes later when my skin was settling. Started looking really textured and heavy. I set it and I feel like we're back to a baseline. It looks really good to me. I don't feel like my skin looks textured. It doesn't look dry. So if this wears well, I think I'm really gonna like this. I don't know if it's going to, but we will see. I am quite impressed though on my initial first impression. It's quite unique because it does feel like it has a little bit of an iridescence in there, almost like you put a little bit of highlighter in your foundation. But again, I feel like it looks really, really good on the skin so far. So we will see how this wears and I will update. Of course, I love the NARS. I've said, you know, many times that I love them. I love the buildability. I love the tones, lots of colors, lots of light colors, rich colors, just everything you can think of. And I just love that they're more balmy and I guess natural, but they play well with powder. So absolutely love those. I am kind of liking my under eye. I'm gonna have to watch my footage back though, because just looking right now, it looks quite smooth. I don't think that this Benefit is a full coverage. I would say it's more of like a medium, but very lightweight. It didn't feel sticky and it blended out almost to like this moussey feel. I do think, again, this has some sort of illumination to it, but nothing that's like accentuating texture. So again, I'll have to watch my footage back, but I think I might enjoy that. And then the one size, I don't know, the smell and just how dry this is, it may not be for me. I really love the Natasha Denona corrector. I also really love the Bobbi Brown. This is just quite dry. I feel like it might be good if you have really oily skin, oily eyelids, something of that nature. But for me, I just don't think that it's ever gonna work because my under eyes are chronically dry. I'll keep testing it though. And the Natasha Denona palette, I think this is really pretty. It is really cool toned, but I did try to use as many shades as possible. I do think you could do a more wearable quote unquote look if you stuck to like these shades, this shade. I didn't use this shade, I don't think, because I felt like a lot of people were gonna use that as a transition to ground it, but I wanted to play in this area. I like that it has a black and a deep chocolate, and I think there's a lot of good textures in here. Really the only finicky one was this middle shade, but I still got it to work. So of course I wanna play with this more, but I'm a huge fan of the Natasha Denona palettes, especially her midi palettes. And if you have been really wanting a cool tone palette, this is cool tone. So I think it's really beautiful. And then I really like both of these Kiko lip products. I didn't know what to expect, but this lipstick color is gorgeous. Like if I was getting married again, this would be a bridal color. It is like a gorgeous, I would say more of a cool toned pinky nude. So beautiful. It feels comfortable. It's very thin. I want to try more formulas from Kiko. And then this swatches almost like nothing. And I thought it was just going to be kind of clear, but it actually shows up super sparkly on the lips. I did remove it though because I just thought this looked really pretty. So really excited about those as well. So I feel like we had a lot of really good products today. If this foundation wears, we'll have pretty much a win with most everything. So let me know what you think about all of the products that I tried today. Let me know if you're picking them up or if you've tried them. Of course, I will link everything that I talked about today down below and on the screen. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.